it's been another scan here at MODELU down in Chipping Sudbury, and we're looking at a whole range of new figures for ground crew and air crew from both the First Gulf and the Second Gulf War. However, this that we've just done right now is a new scan for the First Gulf War for a Buccaneer crew. Now, Buccaneers were deployed slightly later than Jaguars and Tornadoes, as they didn't think they were needed, but the laser guided system for their targeting was required, and as such Buccaneers were deployed slightly later and out they went to the Gulf, and as such the crews were the first to get the brand new desert style flying overalls. Now the Bucs as well out in the First Gulf, they had the rare distinction of the only RAF aircraft to achieve an aerial victory. Everything else was shot up on the ground, but the Buccaneers, however, managed to get one in the sky. So for this scan, what I've got the white kid gloves that have been around by this point since the 1950s, still being worn. There are various different styles. Some American gloves were being used in the First Gulf War as well, and indeed the green ones that are also the same as the ones that I've just taken off. Helmet wise, I have a Mark IV flying helmet. These were introduced in the early 1980s. And along with that, I have a Q-type oxygen mask. I'll just stick that on for you, give you an idea of what it's like. There we go, with the tension straps on. And flick that off. And that's what I've got. So I'm going to unhook that. This is connected into this item on my chest here called a personal equipment connector. Let's remove that. Undo the strap from the helmet and slip that off with crazy hair, which I can imagine if you've been out in the Gulf would have been all sweaty and all over the place. So as I say, we've got a PEC. This connects onto the front of my life preserver, so we shall slip that off. Now these PECs, obviously the Buccaneers were originally designed for the Royal Navy, and in the 1970s when they stopped using them, the RAF ended up using them. So originally they had a PEC with an underwater ejection thing on for the Fleet Air Arm, not massively useful to the RAF. So what they did is they added this blanking plate here and got rid of that. This bit here though is really important, okay? That's the bit that connects in this end here, which is for your anti-G trousers. I'm wearing a pair of external anti-G trousers that were introduced originally in the 1970s and still being used by the RAF up until the end of the 1990s. The life preserver I've got on, or LSJ, life-saving jacket, this is a Mark 22 version. The Mark 22s started to come into service in the 1970s, and it was sort of their last hurrah for the First Gulf. Everything got redesigned and new equipment was issued just after that. So, made out of nylon, got those survival aids in, this blanking plate at the front, the PEC clips into these bits. So that's what I've got in there, and that just unconnects and slips off as such. Now the thing that I've got on at the minute around here is for a holster. Now obviously because these guys are flying in combat, you see lots of pictures, particularly for tornado crews, but of all crews as well, flying with this. And the weapon of choice at the time was a Walther PPK. This one is a 3D printed version, but that's what would go inside the holster. So if I take that off as well, and you can see a little bit more detail of the flying suit. Now the flying suit, obviously we've got the epaulets on here. You would have your rank on there, normally your name and your rank, whether you're a pilot or an observer, the guy in the back, basically the navigator. Sometimes with a squadron patch on this side and another one on there for a specific unit or something like that. So that's what I've got on. Down at the bottom, which is quite difficult to see at the minute, are a set of desert issue boots. You see some pictures of guys in the RAF regiment wearing similar sort of things out in Aden in the 1960s, but these were definitely being used as well. There's a handful of pictures of these being used by ground crew that have managed to get hold of them. So these were sort of the desert wellies, if you like, for the RAF. So we've got those on as well. And the other thing you can see is a turtleneck shirt, which was the standard aircrew item for being worn underneath here, although guys out there were wearing t-shirts as well, because of course it was unbearably hot. So that's the scan that we've just done, and the fantastic team here at MODELU, they're going to be sorting it all out, and they're going to be on sale very, very soon. So keep an eye out on the brand new website.